Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am filming a video on James Charles and what he said to Spirit Airlines and some more stuff, and my opinions, and going over lately his allegations that he's had and how this has kind of brought those back forward. The situation with him basically, in my opinion, belittling someone asking for help that was less fortunate than him and happened to just lose their job with Spirit Airlines because they overnight shut down and didn't give them notice. Was in fact, from what I've heard, telling them that their jobs, they were not going to lose their jobs, and then a couple days or the next day the whole airline went bankrupt and shut down, from what I understand. And one of the people that happened to make a GoFundMe, which from what I looked at, it looks like there was multiple people that had made a GoFundMe, understandably so, since they lost their jobs overnight, and any day without income in this world can ruin you, unfortunately, with the economy being the way it is. So he decided to come on the internet or post a video or whatever, however you want to say it, and called this woman a piece of shit for asking for help with her GoFundMe. Mind you, I feel like it's an insane reaction as someone that does have a following, and probably not the first time he has gotten these, seeing as it's kind of a thing that comes along with being on the internet. I'm not saying that it's the most comfortable thing, but when you get, quite frankly, what I would do in that situation, if someone did send me a GoFundMe or even ask for money, I would probably either silently donate or share it or not do anything with it. And I would not make a video shaming someone because they lost their job and needed some financial assistance. And one of the things he said in the video when he was ranting quite flusteredly was, why would he help her? She doesn't even follow him or whatever. And I was like, not everyone from YouTube follows you on TikTok or Instagram or any other social media platform. I feel like it's quite absurd to expect, seeing as your main audience started on YouTube. Even she could have been someone that has followed you for years on YouTube and happened to be sharing her GoFundMe on TikTok, and I feel like you saying you're not going to help anyone because they haven't made any business transaction or any type of social transaction with you to support you in the past is kind of not important, one, and two, you shouldn't have even, in my opinion, even made a video about this, because it is something I'm sure you see all the time. And yes, I'm sure it's uncomfortable when you have people you don't know asking for money, but at that point it falls on, in my opinion, it falls on you to responsibly handle those situations, but not coming online and I can't say that word, guys, belittling this person that's saying it again fund me. And at the time that he made this video, it was not really known who it was, but it since has I don't know if she just went ahead and posted that she was the person that sent him, or that she was the person he was reacting to. Yeah. So in there, at one point he says multiple things, but he made a comment about something about welcome to the real world or whatever, about losing her job. And when I did my notes, I kind of wrote down some thoughts too, and I said, quite frankly, I mean, my thoughts were like, if anyone's asking you for money and they had lost their job, and in today's current economy, which as far as I know, he has not worked an everyday job in years, if ever. He did get he started making money on social media pretty much as soon as he graduated high school. And I'm not saying he made millions right away. I do think he probably was fortunate in the sense that, in my opinion, he didn't have to struggle and work a full-time real job, in his words, or real world job. In my personal opinion, I don't think he would know much about it, seeing as he has made an income off of social media. And in my personal opinion, when you make income off of social media, it's a very different way of making income. Most of the time, you don't have to stand on your feet for 40 hours a week or 50 hours or 80 hours a week to be able to pay your bills, or to be able to afford food and housing for one person, let alone if you have children or a husband or a wife or kids or whatever, or if you're supporting other family members because of unfortunate events. You never know. And in my opinion, if anyone would know what it was like to work in the real world, it would be, in fact, the person that had set up a GoFundMe for the fact that she lost her job overnight. And as someone that has been quote-unquote canceled multiple times because of his allegations of sexually abusing minors, and he's still not had to go back into the real world and get a real job or work in the real world, I don't think he really has a leg on to stand on when he said, welcome to the real world. And I think if anyone knows what it's like, she would. And just because he hasn't worked in the real world or had to work a 9-to-5 job, is kind of what I'm referencing here when I say real job. I mean like 9-to-5, where you're like on your feet all day, or you're hands-on all day, doesn't mean that it's okay for him to be out of touch, in my personal opinion. Quite frankly, you should make it your mission to still be able to understand what 90% of the world has to deal with, and 90% of people have to deal with working a 9-to-5. Because 90% of your supporters are going to be people that work 9-to-5 or work a very heavy hands-on job or heavy labor job. He also kind of made an assumption from when I watched the video. What I saw was that he said something along the lines of that she is white, abled, and able-bodied, and pretty. That's your assumption. I don't think, speaking from someone that does deal with a physical disability that is not like visible, you don't know if someone's also working 9 to 5 and has a physical disability or not. There's a lot of people that have to work full time and do still have a disability. Regardless of being those factors, it is still hard for white, able-bodied, and pretty people. But imagine how much harder it would be for someone that is in a marginalized community of any kind. And you really don't know how hard. Yeah, let me back up there. When he said something along the lines of something about, instead of copy and pasting a GoFundMe link, to be applying for jobs. The application process for jobs is horrendous. Even when I was still in a 9 to 5 job, it was horrendous back then. Now it's even worse. I know people that have tried to get jobs in the way it is now. I've watched videos of people that have gotten jobs or talk about the process, about how you have to check a million boxes to be able to get through the AI screener. And then, even then, in 90% of the time, you either get a call back saying they selected someone else or they aren't actively looking for anyone to work at that point. And from when I was applying jobs, it's a lot easier to copy and paste the link than it is to sit there and fill out your resume, fill out an application, sit through whatever test scenarios, whatever they want to ask you about. What would you do in this situation? What would you do in that situation? It is a lot quicker to do that, to get support while you're doing that process, than it is to apply for 100 jobs. And even if you want to say that, you really don't know how hard she's working. It doesn't matter how many times she copied and pastes that link. It would be a lot faster than doing 10 applications even, let alone 100. I don't even think many people could do 100 applications in a day today. The way the job applying process is, or the application process, however. And even if she was doing all those things to apply for a job, bills don't stop coming in regardless of if you have income or not. It doesn't magically put them on pause if you don't have an income coming in. And in my personal opinion, it would be better for her to ask for help. And from my own personal experience, it'd be better for her to ask for help versus when all her bills have piled up and now she's losing her house or her car and everything else along with it because it is from like she asked for help way too early, or whatever you were trying to say, or whatever he was trying to say. It doesn't matter 1 or 2 days without an income in the way the economy is. It could be devastating to anyone, let alone imagine if you had a whole family that you were trying to provide for, or if you had other expenses besides, you know, car, house, food, electricity, water, whatever. Imagine if you had other expenses above that because of kids or medical stuff that you can't see. And another point I had when I had written down another note, I can't talk tonight. Don't mind that. Another point I had like kind of jotted down when I was taking notes on the video that he made is that even though she made a GoFundMe or not, they lost all their, like, I think it was like 17,000 people, he said. Like, not just him, but like he had, what he said in his video was like, oh, 17,000 other people lost their jobs and you don't see them making GoFundMe, but the fact is that they probably did, and it doesn't, and it definitely probably wasn't the only one. And come to find out, after I had done these notes, there have been other people from Spirit Airlines that have also made GoFundMes to step forward at the same time, because again, they lost their job overnight. And some other thing he said was something about all you did was lose your job. Losing your job and quite frankly saying that is the most distasteful thing you could say with what's going on with the economy and what's going on in the world, because it is so hard, one, to get a job. Two, again, like I said earlier, the bills don't stop. It's not all you did is lose your job. You could quite frankly lose everything in a matter of a month or a few weeks without having a job. Bills don't fucking stop. Another point I made another note I made when I was doing this, no one asking for help should have to show you this long list of receipts of them paying for your products or showing that they have followed you for so many years to be qualified to, I guess, get your empathy. You don't even have to donate to the GoFundMe or share it or whatever. You could have been at least empathetic, and the most empathetic thing out of the situation of what he had done would have probably been to just not even make a video about it or say anything and just, okay, yeah, that happens. I mean, you can't tell me in the last 10 years you haven't gotten some people that have asked you for money or asked you to share a GoFundMe link or have shared their GoFundMe link. So it makes me so frustrated when someone is this out of touch with, in my opinion, with this much privilege. Like, are you kidding me? And then to go as far as calling her a lazy piece of shit is disgusting, regardless of how he felt. Yeah, you could be annoyed, but that was fucking unnecessary in my opinion. And quite frankly, I don't think that should be an opinion. I think that is just very distasteful to do. And then he went on to follow up with 2 other videos, now 3, but we'll get to the 3rd one later on. I have a lot to say about that. So after that first kind of video, I kind of recapped. I didn't include everything. I'm sure there's details I'm missing, but I again have watched that video probably 20 times in the last 2 weeks, and I'm good. And I believe he's taken all 3 of the original ones down, or the first 2 down, and has left the last 2 up. Either way, if you have clicked on my video, I am sure you have some idea or have saw the first or second video, so I won't put you through that torture because I don't want to go through it again myself. So, anyway, he did make up a video after that initial video that I said about him calling the Spirited Away lazy. I'm not going to continue to repeat what the full thing he said, because I don't want to keep saying that. But calling her lazy, entitled, why would I help you when you haven't even followed me? Those are all things that were roughly said in his video. So he followed that up with another video, basically kind of reiterating those points, but at the beginning. Now, like I said, he has made 2 other videos kind of apologizing and trying to make up for it or whatever, but I feel like it's too little too late. Like, personally, I feel like when I was doing my notes for this video and kind of compiling my thoughts, so I kind of hopefully stayed in one clear direction in this video so I'm not all over the place, because I can do that sometimes, and that's why some videos never see the light of day. But anyway, in that second video he made following up before his other 2 apologies, he basically said that he basically standing 10 toes down on it or whatever. I think he even may have used that phrase in that video. In my opinion, following that up with saying that you're standing 10 toes down and then reiterating the same points over again shows your true colors, no matter whatever you have done following those 2 initial videos, because you made the first one and then people started calling you out about it and saying something, and then you followed it up basically saying the same thing over again and shaming, like, kind of being rude to people that are calling you out, like your other influencers, calling them about saying something about they're cutting this small clip of me calling her a lazy piece of shit and uploading their little think pieces. I'm like, okay, yeah, but there are valid points. That's why people are using that. Mind you, it gets way worse throughout that video entirely. I almost yeeted my remote. I talk with my hands. I almost yeeted my remote off the table, but the video just kept getting worse. And I have seen my fellow creators and other people that I look up to kind of make that point that, yeah, people have been clipping that one part, but it continued to get worse. And then you made another video following up, reiterating those same points and saying you're going to stand 10 toes down but then now you're gonna upload 2 other videos trying to make up for those first 2. No, that video, you following it up and you standing 10 toes down showed your true colors, no matter what you are doing to try to make up for it. Or, oh, I saw the light, I will do better now that I know better. Quite frankly, you've never done, in my opinion, no matter how much you know, you never do the better part. You never follow through and do better. You're just annoyed and frustrated you got caught, so now you're trying to pander because you're starting to feel it in your following, or even if your numbers aren't going down, you are hearing the backlash from not only your followers and your audience, but also your fellow peers that don't even want to be associated with you as your peers. And in my opinion, that's the only reason he has done the following 2 videos, because you stood 10 toes down. Regardless of what you're doing now, it doesn't matter. And in my opinion, the only reason you ever made those next 2 videos, don't like my fingers, Nova. My cat's right here, you can't see her. Oh, there she is. Yeah, you're gonna make an appearance. My allergies are bad. No, don't lick the desk. Please don't lick the desk. That is my medicine you're licking. Please don't do that. I have a cream that I put on my psoriasis. That's why my forehead is a little shiny. Yeah. You want to say hi? I don't know if you've made an appearance in my YouTube videos before. Say hi. This is my baby girl, Nova. Yeah. Say that's my baby kitty. No, don't do that. Don't lick mommy's elbows. I love you, but don't do that. I don't like it. No, I'll give you pets. Do you think I can get back on track? Do you think I can fall? Do you think I can get back on track? See, Mama has all her time focusing. Yeah. Okay. You might see the occasional tail. I am not stopping this and refilming. So, in my opinion, the only reason you ever made a video is because one of your peers you decided no mamas. Anyway, I love you, baby girls. Are you gonna just sit there and be a good kitty? Yeah, see, I'm a good girl. I'm a fluffy girl. I'm shedding like crazy right now. Yeah. Alright, let's try to get back on track. I guess I've said what I felt like a few times. It might be a little choppy. I got a little distracted, but another thing I kind of wanted to bring up is like, another reason, like, in my opinion, he really doesn't care, and this is not his own opinions and thoughts, is if you notice in that first video where he said he stood 10 toes down, he made a second video seemingly in the same position, but he was in bed both times. I feel like if you were really that sincere, you would have got your ass out of bed and got dressed and thought about it. And I don't know. In my personal opinion, that was a lazy ass apology, and I think it was that way because he doesn't care. In my opinion, I think he thinks he's untouchable. How about, here's something I wrote in my notes. I don't think I could state it better now if I tried. Okay, something I said when I was watching this video, and it follows up with what I said about him getting out of bed. I said, how about you get out of bed and get dressed and make a sincere apology? That's the least you could do for the audience that supports you for some reason, that stayed through your allegations of sexting minors. And that's one point. The whole reason I'm making this video is to bring awareness to this, because I think it's more important. Why are we allowing someone that has allegations that I have notes later that let me see if I can find them right now. One of the videos that I watched about his allegations. Oh wait, hold on. Let me just flip my pages right over. There it is. Oh, and his holding himself accountable video that he deleted, mind you, later. Okay? He deleted this. But the internet's forever. So, what did I do? I went and watched that video because I did watch it in the time of this happening. I would have been, I'm a year younger than him, a year-ish younger than him, and I was watching this shit as it was happening. But I quit following him, alike with Colleen Ballinger. At the same time, both videos came out. They didn't both come out at the same time, but like when their allegations came out, there was enough proof. I don't think it matters either way, but anyway, here we go. So like I said, he made a video, self-acclaimed. Let me see, at the end of it, I think it was something like, oh, this. Huh. And you still have a following after this. To the victims, I am so sorry. I can't say that's a perfectly direct quote, but pretty damn close. I know the to the victims part is a direct quote. And this isn't AI. this wasn't an AI video, because AI was not, I wouldn't say it wasn't available, but it wasn't this advanced back then that could make a video perfect like this. Perfect in the sense of the quality of the video, not the content of it, mind you. Is there anything else I want to say about this at this moment, or do I just want to continue chatting about the buffoonery? Yeah. Oh yeah. I think there was a cut. Maybe I should share a few other quotes. Or rough. Another one that stood out to me. I'm desperate. Yeah, again, that's a rough, direct quote, but I'm pretty damn sure that is 2 words. I don't know how much I could mess that quote up. There's another one. How much research do you need to do on people when they had public profiles to verify their age? I don't know, there was some ramblings on about him needing to ID people to know their age roughly if they were. I'm wondering, why are you dating someone or trying to flirt with someone not close to your age? What? Really? Mind you, he was 21 at the time. I don't know. Another thing I kind of put down that I noticed in this video is he came back and like in this whole thing kind of used a lot of, I guess, I don't know if this is an exact term or just like something I've heard, like people kind of explain it this way, but in this video called Holding Myself Accountable. How much did you hold yourself accountable when you turned around and deleted it? Anyway, another thing that stood out to me when I was watching this video was that, in my opinion, he used a lot of distancing language. I don't know where this kind of note I wrote came from. I know we kind of jumped from the current stuff to that, but I feel like this should also be current information, seeing as this person has self-admittedly made a video on this at one point. In that video he also said he was so embarrassed. Really? Why the fuck would you even, like, if you were so embarrassed, why didn't you crawl in a hole and hide? A metaphorical hole, okay? Not a real one. Like in your bed, hiding in your house, I don't know. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. Don't take anything seriously, please. Except, you know, the stuff that he self-admittedly said. Oh boy. Oh. I'm starting to crack myself up. How absurd this is. Oh boy. Alright, let's come back to current day. Oh wait, hold on. More careful. Okay, well, we'll come back to this. I don't think that is going to be my only video bringing up this conversation, but I have more to say, but I did want to make it known that he has allegations of sexting minors. And the video was made, I can give you a date of that video that he made. April 1st, 2021. Holding myself accountable. Boys. Sorry if you're sitting through a lot of quiet air. I'll probably cut some of it out. He kind of reiterates that a lot of what he said in that 2021 video in the article titled, and I do know this is right, because 100% right, what I'm about to say, this little square sticky note I got. See? Because I read the whole damn article. Kind of basically brings up the similar things he said in the holding myself accountable about IDing people that he finds on his For You page to date. He also made a comment about somewhere, I don't know if it was in that article I'm about to tell you what this article called, and who wrote it. He said something along the lines of, what was it? Seriously, what was it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, using his For You page as a dating app, and made a comment that most people today do. Mind you, I'm 25. I was a year younger than him. I never used my For You page as a dating app on anything. I've used maybe Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. Is that all? Oh, yeah. At the moment that I can remember anyway. I'm sure I've been on a couple other dating apps, but actual dating apps, not my For You page on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. For You page, or, you know, the whatever. Anyway, I am 25. I'm a year younger than you. I don't know anyone that has ever been my age that's used their For You page really seriously as a dating app. That's a little, in my opinion, a little weird. Does it happen? Do people actually meet each other on the For You page? Yeah, occasionally. I don't think people are actually using it seriously as a dating app. I think that might be... I can't relate on that at all. I can't relate to a lot of us. Anyway, he kind of echoes a few things from that video that he made in 2021, mentions about IDing people about their age, but but the article that I'm talking about, just so you know where I am not where I'm kind of pulling some of this stuff from. So you can, if you want to go look into it yourself, you can. But the article that I kind of talked about, this came out in 2023, and it kind of echoes the similar sentiment about he should have ID'd those children. Maybe don't date try to find a date on the For You page. Anyway, I kind of went off on a ramble. I've kind of ended up you'll kind of notice this. I kind of got distracted and ended up skipping a few things in my notes, but we'll come back to it eventually. I don't know if it'll be in this video or not, because it's almost been an hour. No, 45 minutes. Ooh, that had to be quite a wild shot. Anyway, the article. Let me just say this damn article name so I can get it out of my head. James Charles would like to be uncanceled, please. And the author was Gabrielle, I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right, Bluestone. Either one, okay? The date of the article would have been July 13, 2023 was when it was published. And so that's the article name and the author of the article. Huh. I don't know. If it was me, I don't think I would have interviewed him. I don't know. That article wasn't... I don't know. Maybe I should have wrote more notes about how I feel on that, but that's, I don't know. So I did kind of want to give you a backstory on like how he came up to fame and all that stuff, and kind of his backstory of his catalog and his like what he has done on YouTube and his career, kind of a rough idea of it, besides his allegations and his buffoonery of a video a couple weeks ago. Oh, hold on, I gotta find the rest of this note before. Could be that was okay. We already covered that. 10 Toes Down, we covered that. Oh, wait a minute. We're gonna get to the overview of his career, but I wanna go back to where we left a while ago and kind of go over about a couple other notes that I might have kind of said, but in a way, but not in the way I wanted to when I took my notes. So I wrote something when I was doing my notes, and in my opinion, you feel awful because if you don't, it could hurt your pocket money, and that's all you care about, in my opinion. And I followed that up by saying, what else? And I stand by this saying, okay, what else should we expect from someone that is a rich white man that is sexting minors, allegedly, in a self-admitted video apologizing to your victims? In the video, holding myself accountable is the video I was talking about. I think that's why we ended up there, and now we're back. But yeah, how did I bring up? Oh, okay. So yeah, and that was originally, minus our detour, our few detours, that was originally where I was gonna end the video. But then I was like, oh wait, I really think it's important that we talk about the allegations that have been made and as they are still the victims, are still speaking out today. Not, I don't know if literally today, but they have been in current time speaking out. One of the people that have speaking out, I will double check myself when I'm editing. I believe his name is Ethan Rhett. He spoke out, I think, a few months ago. I am sure there are other people that, there has allegedly been screenshots going around that, someone anonymously sent one of the creators saying that, like, showing screenshots of their conversations with James Charles. I watched a video years ago about someone he was in a relationship with that I was of age, but how he talked to them was kind of, in my opinion, manipulative. And I watched the video of covering their screenshots and stuff. But I feel like it's important to talk about those things and for you to know who you're following, for us to know who we're following and interacting with. I couldn't stand by it then, and I sure as don't stand by it now. I would have been 20 at the time, I believe, when all these allegations initially were made public. Or when, maybe not when they were made public, but when he had addressed them. And I really didn't like him to begin with, but I occasionally watched his videos up until that point. And then I stopped watching him when I saw the video. I don't know if I saw it right when it came out or shortly after. I was not on the internet like I am now back then. But I did know of what was going on. I didn't know exact details, but when I watched the video, I was like, I can't stand by this. So, a note I had made, and I stand by this now, but I am gonna kind of give you more of my thoughts and more of what I had uncovered during this process of putting together this outline and the script of what happened and where we are and where has been. I wanted to kind of go over his career and kind of my thoughts during this process of researching more in depth anyway, of what I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure I haven't went as in depth as some creators have. I know there are some good veterans in drama commentary, if you want to call it that, with this situation, that have covered this. They've made really good videos recently. I watch them. I aspire to be able to make videos like them too. Two that I know of, three off the top of my head would be Do You Know Them covered them, Jessie and Lily. And then Jen Love, I think is what her channel name is now. She made a really good video about this. Peter Mon also made a really good video, and I believe, okay, so maybe there's four. I've watched Paige Christie made a video on James Charles recently that was really good, and they have been watching this stuff a really long time as people that have covered these situations, not with just James Charles, but with multiple people. And I will try to link their videos, if not just their channel, so you can go watch theirs also if you'd like. But something I kind of noted when I was gonna originally end my video is I encourage anyone that is watching my video, or just anyone in general, critically think about who you support online, whether it be James Charles or anyone really, and if you would support them, if this is someone in your real life or your real world or your community, because oftentimes I think we, and I'm speaking as myself even, will support someone online, but if we find out about some of the stuff they do online or comes to light online, we wouldn't support them in our real life. So just critically think about it. I've been guilty, and I'm sure of following someone that probably I would not talk to in real life. And that was originally where my video was gonna end, but however, I felt it was kind of important to talk about like his career over time and like how like his shadiness throughout his career and like how he came up and all that, just to kind of give more history. And I kind of talk about that like when I was doing my notes about the reason why I wanted to cover this was because this initial story was, one, it was completely ridiculous, and two, in my opinion, it shows how untouchable he thinks. I think I might have already brought that up. And I've brought up a point, which I'm not going to do a full video on this. I just wanted to mention it as context too, because of why personally I think he still has a career and why some people don't. And I can kind of not compared, but kind of brought up the contrast in this situation and his allegations of talking to minors sexually, and to Colleen Ballinger, as kind of want to bring up the contrast of those. Like, as we've seen, disgusting behavior can ruin your career you currently have, as with Colleen Ballinger. They both have similar allegations, but with a few key differences that I have noticed. I'm sure there are more, but the few that I have noticed is James has admitted to his allegations in his video Holding Myself Accountable. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to watch that and bring that up in this video. Of sexting to minors and DMs. Colleen Ballinger has not admitted to that, hasn't made an apology, hasn't acknowledged that she has done harm in any form other than the ukulele. Another key difference between the two of them, and I think this is another reason why she doesn't have a thriving career like she did formerly, as he does currently, is a lot of her peers completely disowned her, spoke out, but made dedicated videos or made some type of content or comment about it publicly, versus with him, either people have silently unfollowed or haven't really said anything. I mean, a select few, or obviously people calling him out in, I don't know, the drama commentary space, maybe a few others. I think there's very big, hard-hitting peers that have called him out. I know recently Jackie Aina made a video calling him out, and I have since learned that she's done some shady things too. I don't know the details of that, so I'm not going to really talk about that. But as a peer, she has called him out for this situation. But other than that, there's not really anyone significantly close to them. Them. Oh my gosh, my brain's not working anymore. To him that has called or disowned him. No one stuck up for Colleen Ballinger either, gave her credit, anyone, except with an exception of JoJo Siwa. You know, I'm not going to say anything else on that. But I did want to kind of give, like, what she was called out for, just so you kind of have the context of, like, why I'm kind of saying they have similar allegations. Is Colleen was talking inappropriately to minors in group chats and also sent them nudes of, unfortunately, Trisha Paytas's nudes at the time she was working. I don't know if she was doing OnlyFans or if she had her own, like, what is it called? Like, kind of OnlyFans similar site. I really don't know much details on that, but I do know she was working, I guess, as an SW. I don't think she does anymore, but at the time, yes. And Colleen was sending Trisha Paytas's nudes to minors. Okay. Alright, so now you kind of got my thoughts on, like, why one still has a career and one doesn't. And I think there's many other factors that kind of go into that. But I think one of a huge factor is that no one's really in his own community that really made a huge hard-hitting video. I mean, they have started now. Other than the people that have been continually calling him out since the initial allegations were made. But now, let's kind of recap his career. I may have some details not exact. I may not have the full thing. But I kind of have an idea. I heard, like, some people mention in the videos, and I kind of did more research, so I kind of had a better idea. Oh, before we move on from that comparison between Colleen Ballinger, if you do want more information on the situation with Colleen Ballinger and what she has been called out and what a channel that has been, or Adam McIntyre has been covering the whole situation as a victim of hers and speaking out for other people that has happened to this. So if you want more, he's one of the people that was very close to the situation that has covered that and details and all of that. I give you a very, 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 like, sprinkle on the iceberg of information. I feel like if you want more in-depth information, I would go over there. I think hearing someone that has been covering it and has his own story to share would be more important than me trying to recap it all in one video about James Charles mainly. So maybe one day I'll do a more detailed video on her allegations too. I have plans for more videos, but this video felt important to me to talk about his allegations. I felt like it was a good point to contrast with her But also, I feel like if you want more information, go on over to Adam's channel. Again, I will try to link that in my video if I can. I am learning as I'm going. So, recap on his career. I put in my past when he started on YouTube. I don't know, I don't have an exact date, okay? I was not doing that deep. I believe it was between 2016 and 2017 when his channel kind of picked up for makeup, but we kind of later found out that allegedly the way his career started off wasn't exactly the most honest. When he said that he brought a ring light to redo his video. In fact, it may have been just photoshopped makeup instead of real. I don't know. Allegedly. But that was a big kickoff for him. He later became the first male spokesperson for CoverGirl. He was also, and I got this information, these specific two tidbits from the article I mentioned earlier. James Charles would like to be uncanceled, please. And I even wrote in my notes when I was putting this together for this video that I say alleged because I'm not sure of the exact details of the mentioning of him photoshopping that initial photo that he said he did the makeup for. That's why I said alleged. I am not 100%. I don't know if there's ever been 100% proof out there, but it wouldn't surprise me. From that point forward, his channel had grown, despite, in my opinion, when his most serious allegations were exposed of sexting young boys, minors, which in my opinion he poorly addressed in his April 1st, 2021 video, Holding Myself Accountable, which I have already kind of given you a little synopsis of. And I noted, now deleted. And when I watched the real upload, which is the same exact video, in my opinion, I mentioned this earlier, he uses a lot of distancing language. Where's the, I think, was that it for us? Oh, maybe that was it. Oh. Okay, so I think that was the main bit I wanted to cover, that I had notes on. Now I'm just kind of shoot. No, that's not the right term. I'm just kind of gonna talk about my thoughts about the most recent video he has posted. And I have a lot. I don't need those in order anymore. If I need to reference something, I'll find it. Oh, before I move on to our next part, again, I don't have no notes on this one, but I, again, have watched the video a few times. Oh, shit. I did not mean to do that. So if my camera angle changed, it's because I smacked my tripod and I edited it out. Anyway, before I move on, I did want to mention another thing he had done. He was hosting the series instant influencer. I don't know if it was later canceled, but I do know he for sure is no longer the host of that. If it is still in existence, I don't think it is. In my opinion, never mind. I'm just not gonna go there right now. That's another video another time. Oh shoot, that was my whiteout. Ow. Okay, all right, so when I had finished those notes, I initially thought that would be kind of the end, and I would be wrapping up my thoughts about his allegations and the current situation. And there are more details about the current situation. I do kind of want to give an update on Amber, which was the name of the girl he said, in my opinion, disgusting things about her asking for help with her GoFundMe. She did, I believe, reach and exceed her goal, and last I knew, she had since paused donations on it. And I believe, I'm not sure on this, GoFundMe had actually took it upon themselves to set up a crowd, like a group fund for anyone that had lost their job due to the Spirit Airlines. I am not sure about the details on that. I know there were other Spirit Airlines employees that had been making GoFundMes because, again, they lost their job suddenly, and it's not just losing your job. Crazy thing to say, I know. It's people's livelihood, how they feed themselves, how they take care of themselves, how they pay their bills, how they keep a roof over their head, how they continue driving to work and answering those phone calls when they get a call about their new job. Anyway, so that was a quick update on her. But I was gonna make a separate video about this. I may still cut this and make it separate, but where do I start? He came out with another, James Charles came out with another apology video, basically kind of reiterating what he said in that third video, which was his second apology. Now we're on his third. Okay. Basically said the same things, like, oh, I was out of touch, I should have, I listened to real people, I talked to real people about their experience, whatever. I'm like, yada, 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 yada. Not anything we haven't heard from him, in my opinion, before with an apology. But one thing, I have sat on this for a few days because I wanted to make sure that I still felt the same way after I thought about it for a few days. He decided to announce that he was gonna do, I don't know, some kind of nonprofit, not exactly sure the details, for people that have lost their jobs suddenly, people that are just struggling, or I believe there's some sector of it that's going to be for scholarships. Oh boy. So, I still share the same opinion as when I first watched that video. I feel like he is just doing this because he doesn't want his apologies or his actions to hurt his pocket. By pocket, I mean money. In my opinion, I think that's the only reason he is doing that, if not to save grace, save face, however you want to say it, to continue further profiting. In my opinion, the Painted Project is, when I know it, is to continue to make up to the people that he pissed off. Yes, he's made, in my opinion, has made peace with the fact that he is gonna inevitably lose some people, but in my opinion, the system get good graces back with the people that are kind of on the fence, like, oh, it wasn't, you know, whatever, wasn't that big of a deal, whatever, to continue making money. Yes, he put $250,000 into it, from what I know, but as someone that had, from my own personal experience, I don't, and from, okay, how about, let me start over. In my personal opinion, I think he's, what's the saying, stuck his foot in his mouth, stuck a foot in his ass, took 2 steps too far, got ahead of himself. Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do some. Oh, stuck his foot in his ass. Oh, okay, anyway, in my opinion, he got ahead of the game. There we go. And is gonna end up yes, it might save him now, but in my personal opinion, it will cause problems later. Maybe I'll just do a separate video on my full thoughts, but in my personal opinion, from what I've seen from him, one thing, it may save face now, and like I said, he'll get some people back, but in my personal opinion, this is all to keep his money flowing in so he doesn't lose money for now, but I think it might come back and bite him in the ass, in my opinion, because like anything to do with nonprofits, fundraisers, that shit is highly watched by the public. 1, 2, it's supposed to be highly transparent, and 3, it takes a lot of work from many different people, not just one person, but many different people. Also, you're gonna have to get more funding than $250,000. That is not gonna go far at all. I don't know. I just think it I don't think it's okay. I don't think it was well thought out. I think it was in my opinion, a quick thing thrown together so that he could appease the public now and then come out with it later. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I think this is not genuinely done out of the interest for the people that he had harmed, but I think it was done out of, in my opinion, ulterior motives to gain the trust of his audience back, and I think it was poorly announced. I could see maybe if he sat back, put it together for like 3 months, but you're gonna tell me you threw this together in a week? No. But I don't know. I think it, in my opinion, was announced way too soon, and it may come back and bite him in the ass. I am sure I will cover him at some point, and if it does fall apart or if it does succeed, I may make another video, but I think all I have to say again is that I think it's very important for everyone to know about his allegations and the kind of person, in my opinion, he is, and will probably, in my opinion, continue to be. And I will again reiterate what I said earlier about, I think that we all, including myself, need to think critically about who we are giving our time to, because unfortunately in the age of social media, time is money, and the time you're giving to someone is, if they're monetized and, you know, are sponsored, you're gonna be giving them money with your time. Not always, but in a lot of cases, in some form or another, yeah. So, and that includes me. I probably need to reevaluate some people I have followed or am following. So, anyway, I think that's all for today. Yes, I'm stretching. I have been filming for an hour and 20 minutes. I don't know if that's gonna be what's going up, but I don't know how much editing I'm gonna do, quite frankly. I may just put this up as is. That's kind of why I didn't want to do a lot of reaction, because I just kind of wanted to talk about my thoughts and like my notes and everything, versus like making sure that everything in the edit is perfect. I will probably do more videos like that. I enjoy doing those too, but I felt like this was more of a video that needed more of my time in a different way versus my time in editing. So, yeah, I will probably make a follow-up video more detailed and stuff. Like I said, if you want more in-depth information from veterans or long-time drama commentary people that have been covering James Charles and his allegations for years, I think even about the most recent situation, I talked about, I think it was Paige Christie, Jen Love, Peter Mon, and Do We Know Them? Are the 4 channels I talked about that covered this a lot more, with a lot more knowledge than I have. I did spend hours watching old footage to kind of get an idea of the details of things, and I'm sure I've missed things. Yeah, so thank you for watching. And have a good night. And well, I guess I'm filming this in the middle of the night. But have a good day or night whenever you're watching this. Thank you.